Okay, so we are with Kenan today.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Get ya.
That is awesome. It's like you want to cuddle it, but it's
But it's a little black devil at the
yeah,
same time.
it's exactly. It fools your brain. You know, you think, oh, this guy's cute.
My name's Joseph Carter, and I am the Mink Man. I've been an animal lover my entire life. I grew up training cattle dogs and cow horses with my grandfather, and I was an avid falconer in my teens and early 20s. When I was a senior in high school, I started learning about the American mink. I was told that mink were horrible, vicious little animals who were impossible to tame. Challenge accepted. I've been in love with mink ever since, and have devoted the last 14 years of my life to learning about this marvelous little predator. I get mink from fur farms and give them a new life. In this new life, my mink live as naturally as possible, even hunting for their dinner the way a wild mink would. So come join me on my adventures as we learn more about this intense little predator, the amazing American mink. Okay, so we are with Kenan today, and you drove out from Florida?
With my channel, I work with a lot of reptiles, and I just was interested because you're trying to tame a monitor, and I think that's just really cool because they're such intelligent lizards. You know, just with me working with them, I don't do the same kind of training you do. I just allow the animal to tame itself, just to kind of get used to me. But I wanted to see what you're all about, because you're an intense guy, man. Like, and it's in the best way. Like you're really focused. You have a really cool background, and I wanted to learn a little bit about you. And I wanted you to just show me around, man. To be perfectly honest.
Cool. Yeah,
right.
we'll be happy to show you the place.
Cool.
And glad you came out. So for you guys that aren't so familiar with his channel, you've got your own reptile sanctuary.
Yep.
And you've got all kinds of stuff. Turtles from all over the world.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you've got a bunch of native species along with
I do have a few native species,
but it's mostly exotic.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
All kinds of turtles. Obviously mentioned monitor lizards. All kinds of crazy stuff. Pretty much just reptiles, though. I haven't seen any.
No other. I had a cat, but he passed on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
he passed on a while back. But yeah, I've always loved reptiles, and I just think they're an animal that are misunderstood, and I don't think we give them enough credit. That's why I'm interested in seeing what you're doing, because, you know, we realize that just because we haven't deciphered something yet or figured out the key to interacting with something, humans tend to just brush it aside. So I spent my whole life with reptiles, and I noticed that there's more to them than we give them credit for.
And as a disclaimer, I am not a reptile person. I've had reptiles. I appreciate reptiles, but I am not a reptile person. So a lot of my ideas, maybe some of my husbandry, can definitely be improved. So I just always want to throw that out there. I get a lot of hardcore reptile people that like try and say, oh, you're painting yourself as an expert on the subject. No, where did you get that? I've never said that, and I never intended to do that. I am a novice learning something new. I try and do my research. I try and do the best I can. There's a lot of conflicting opinions out there. So no matter how much of an expert you are, there's someone else that's going to argue you're wrong. Same in dogs, same in falconry,
Absolutely.
same in any expertise. The reptile world seems to be a little harsher than some. But, and I say that, but then falconry world is super harsh. The dog world is super harsh.
Yeah.
Horse training world super harsh.
It's the animal people.
The one thing the dog trainers love to say, and I totally agree with it, the only thing that two dog trainers can agree on is that the other one's wrong.
That's so funny, man.
Anyway, let's
do it.
let's jump into this. We've had enough chit chat. Let's introduce you to Minkland.
All right, man. I'm excited.
And we've got a lot of updates coming and a lot of work that we're doing currently. So for our own viewers, some of this is going to be new to you guys.
Cool.
So as you walk in here, this is our mink escape prevention on the door. Super simple, kind of ugly. I'd like to update this at some point, but
It works.
It works.
Yeah.
It keeps them in, keeps them from sliding through the cracks. Everything here on Minkland is mink proof, and I say that tongue in cheek. I don't know that mink proof really exists, but it's as close as you can get at this point. And I guarantee I'll find a chink in the armor at some point, or a mink will, I won't.
Yeah.
And I'll fix it. But we've got this fence right here. It protects the garden area because the garden area is not mink proof. On the other side, the mink can zip under that fence if they start digging, which they will do pretty quick. So this fence is climb proof. or I should say very climb resistant.
Yep.
The tin is angled out so that if the mink try and jump, they have to come out and up, which is impossible, of course, because they don't fly. So it prevents them from getting out. We used to have this flat against the fence, and we found that they just climbed to the top and jumped, caught the top,
and we're able to walk over.
So
yeah, that's cool.
So we ended up having a angle on it. Yeah, the whole fence, the whole perimeter fence has wire buried. So if they try and dig, they're just going to hit wire along the whole perimeter. Looks like the mink have found the pond. Let's go show you.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Oh, we just got a fish.
Oh, they got a fish.
Look at that.
We missed it.
Oh man, that's so cool.
Okay, so this is our fence for the pond,
Yeah.
and you can see it's only half built. The first half is wire so that we can see through, the top half is going to be tin. So I really didn't like the design where we had it angled out for two reasons. The number one reason is honestly it only prevents them from climbing one way. So I want it to be climb proof both ways. I want to be able to lock a mink in here and use it as an enclosure or a training location or whatever, and have them not be able to leave if I choose that to be the case. And I don't want a mink that's on the outside able to climb in if for whatever reason, maybe there's some fish in here I don't want them bothering, or a mink I don't want them getting in with, whatever the case may be. I want to be able to control when they enter and when they exit.
Gotcha.
Look, he's got a rock.
Got a rock.
Yeah, but that's not a fish. And he probably at this point does not think it's a fish. He's just playing it.
Oh, we're chasing the fish right here.
Oh yeah.
Going for it. Look at this. That's incredible. These guys are incredible athletes. And is that part of the reason why you're really trying to harness that behavior, harness that physicality they have?
For sure. They're athletes and they're mentally just super, super intense animals. Oh, look.
We got one.
Got another
Look at
fish.
this. That's fantastic. I guess that's...
We saw it. We
saw it?
Oh, you saw one with the
We
fish?
saw it right walking around.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
really?
He was sitting right by the rock and eating it.
You
Oh,
saw
that's
him by
good.
the rocks eating the fish? Yeah, they like eating the fish.
This is a new addition, this pond, right?
Yeah, so this is just a few weeks, maybe a month at the most.
So cool.
I've lost track of time. So normally when I raise a mink,
Yep.
because this is new to me, like this is a relatively new thing, having so many mink. For years and years and years, I poured all my time into one or two, maybe three individuals at the most. And honestly, three was pretty overwhelming. So one or two. And when you raise a baby mink, you take them out into nature, you go for walks, and you let them swim, you let them climb, you let them experience life like a baby mink would, following their mom around in the forest and the swamps and the streams. So there's no way I could do that with all these mink. They deserve a good life. And not only do they deserve it, it benefits me if they experience it.
Right.
Because when we take them out hunting, it's not new to them. They're just like, oh, it's another day. We're in a different place, but it's the same thing we do every day. We go out, this guy calls us back, we come back. So basically it allows me to train 22 mink at once.
Wow.
Turn them loose, they do their thing. When they're done, I call them back. We put them away, they eat their meal. So the problem was previous years, or last year, this was the first year we did this, right?
Okay.
Last year, I could just turn them loose in a barren yard. And it's cool, it's way cool, but it's
sterile.
It's sterile.
Yeah.
This lets them be as if they're in nature, experiencing the same things. And so part of that is, this isn't just a pond. What do we hunt a lot when we're out in nature? We hunt muskrats. One of the things they need to learn is how to find a muskrat den. So we have an artificial muskrat den. That pipe is connected to a full system. So right down there, kind of in between these two rocks, is one opening, and it feeds into there, and they could either swim past or they can come up. See, look at that. He's piling rocks up there.
Yeah, they're naturally curious.
Like, he's got all of those rocks. I thought he was just playing with that one rock. He's got a whole pile going on there.
And they're naturally curious, right?
Yeah. So the pipe goes from there, comes around here. It's all under this rock, so it's totally invisible. So under our little artificial stump here is the den.
Love it.
And
Look
just,
at this.
just like a muskrat den, It's a round shape, just like most dens are. It's the rocks, we've got it plain, there's no bedding, but the rocks allow it for it to drain. There's no bottom on this bucket, so the water can just drain down into the soil and disappear. Because as you see, their wet bodies are going to carry water. You know, see, look at them dripping everywhere and leaving a trail on the rocks, going in and out, in and out, in and out. This would have become a pond in no time. So it just drains down, and we can close it and then cover it back up again.
That is great. I love that. Why I like coming around and meeting people like yourself is because when animal people get together, you can bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah.
And looking at how you have this set up, they're going to be building me a caiman pond.
Oh, cool.
So we're going to have some caiman in my place, and I wanted to create a situation where they had a subterranean warm retreat, because where I live, it does get, every once in a while, it gets cold.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to have an area that the caiman can find when it gets cooler, and they can kind of hide in, and I don't have to stress about the caiman getting too cold.
Chilled out, yeah.
What we normally do is we just leave the caiman in the water, because our water temperature, when I pump my well water in, it's always, no matter what time of year, it's 72 degrees. But I just think it would be more conducive to that animal's behavior to have like some kind of, not necessarily a den, but a retreat. So it's pretty interesting stuff.
So you may wonder, and I know some of my viewers have wondered, why is it so barren?
Oh yeah, I was going to ask, no plants.
There's no plants, there's no dirt, it's pure rock. Okay, mink, when they swim, I don't know if you've noticed this behavior yet, they go in, they come out, they rub, they go in, they come out,
Yeah,
they
what is
rub.
that?
It's just them drying themselves.
Okay.
It's a natural behavior. So they'll come out, they'll rub themselves and dry off. Well, the minute they rub themselves on anything else, whether it's dirt, whether it's grass, whether it's a plant, they're going to collect debris, go into the water with it.
Turn it into
Collect debris, go into water with it. And so these rocks basically keep the water crystal clear.
Makes sense. How long can they hold their breath?
Not very long, really, like maybe a minute.
Okay.
I've never timed it,
Interesting.
but they're usually frequent short dives.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Mr. Boone.
All right.
Like I was telling you, this is all these are all temporary setups. So all of these enclosures behind me are basically in place while we're building our permanent enclosures, which are going to be great big walk-in enclosures. They'll basically encompass from the end of the cement and each little section here.
That's amazing.
So Boone, because he is out all day long, all the time, he gets the simplest, smallest, most uninteresting enclosure because he really doesn't spend very much time in it. He's with me almost all day long. And he's a cool little guy, super friendly. He may get you.
That's okay, man. I'm touching at my own risk, but they are adorable. I could see how someone would think this would be a good pet. But
Yeah.
they're kind of alone.
Oh, they're a horrible pet for 99.9% of people. Very, very high strung, very, very high maintenance, very, very aggressive. A lot of people see me handling them and say, oh, they're nice, and they'll even see my little girls interacting with them. You got to realize like how careful the supervision is when my girls are involved, and how careful the selection is of the mink that they're involving that interaction with. I mean, like I was telling you earlier, if you're not bleeding, you're not getting bit. But I mean, any moment now, he might draw blood. I mean, that's just
The
how
way
it
it
is with mink. And he's pushing his limits. I mean, you can see little
Yeah,
indents
little
in my
indents.
arm, but see, that's play.
Right.
He's not even remotely serious. It's uncomfortable, but I mean, that's just how it is. And maybe if I had thinner skin, it might be bleeding. I don't know. I've got some pretty thick hide on me, but hey, that's too rough. Relax.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Get ya.
That is awesome. Look at that.
Yeah, he just hangs on.
Wow.
Probably not good for my bandana.
Yeah, whatever. It's kind of cool, man. Gives your bandana some character. Ooh. It's like you want to cuddle it, but it's
But it's a little black devil at the
yeah,
same time.
it's exactly. It fools your brain. You know, you think, oh, this guy's cute.
Yeah. Yeah, the other time I got bit is with Vila.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she bites hard when she plays. But
Oh, that's awesome. Little Largus monitor here. This is a cool situation you got here. I watched a couple of your videos, natural earthen substrate, so it allows it to do its natural behavior of digging.
Yep.
and different basking levels or different heat levels, I would imagine, and just hides.
Just digs his own burrow, and that's his hide.
Wow.
And he digs constantly. He reshifts things around. He's constantly burrowing. Even if you didn't touch it, he'll redig a new burrow and bury the old one on a regular basis.
You know, these Argus monitors, it's funny that you chose Argus monitor as the monitor for you to kind of train. The Argus monitors have been thought of as very almost mammalian in so many ways. They're very intelligent. They do that tripoding. They kind of peek up and look around. So it's really cool that you just gravitated towards this. Was that part of the plan?
Yeah, so I did a lot of research. I'm not a reptile expert, not a monitor expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I do a lot of research. And so I researched all the different species available. I mean, I would have got a perennie if they were available.
Yeah.
Not realistic,
Right.
But
you got good taste.
He's the cousin of the perennie, the smaller cousin of the perennie. And they're very, very similar, very active hunters. So as far as what they've researched, they're the most active reptile that's ever been researched enough to know that.
Cool.
Right? So more active than any of the other monitors, any of the other reptiles in the world are the Argus monitors. And they're known to travel for as much as 7 hours a day.
Well, that's incredible. But think about it. If you're hello, little one. Oh, that's a pretty picture you got.
Oh, there's my baby Olive.
Wow, we don't mind stopping all this just to talk to you.
That's when you were
That was
a baby.
when you were a little baby?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. She's adorable.
I sure think so.
Yeah, she's the best. Oh, my gosh. But I was going to say, real quick, buddy, I was just curious. If an animal is active longer, especially a cold-blooded animal, they're going to need more brain power. More activity means a higher metabolism. And monitors, in my opinion, in my experience, because I might be a reptile expert, but I hesitate to say no one can know it all.
For sure.
And I approach things in that way, which is why I wanted to talk to you, because you may be finding things out that people that are so focused on monitors their egos are too big to take in new information. Mm-hmm. And the best thing to do is to listen to all information and make sense of it on your own. But I'm interested to see what you're able to do with this animal.
So one of the biggest things about training an animal isn't just their intelligence. I mean, that's cool, but actually what's way more important than intelligence is drive.
Okay.
So if an animal can be motivated, I shouldn't say it doesn't matter, but how intelligent they are is very secondary.
Okay.
If you're very, very motivated to do something, so let's say that Malinois out there, she could be dumb as a post and I could teach her easier than most intelligent dogs because she's very, very motivated. She really, really wants to play. And because she even if she was dumb, she is super smart. But let's say she wasn't. Let's say she was super, super dumb, like the dumbest dog on the planet. But that high motivation, I really, really want to play ball. I really, really want to bite something and wrestle with it. That's so exciting to me. I could teach her easier than a smart dog that's not motivated because I have something she really, really wants.
Right.
If you do this, I'm going to give it to you. She'll figure out what this is.
Makes sense.
Right? He's got the intelligence and he's got the drive, most importantly, to want to do something. And they're very confident lizards. So you might have another one that's very driven and confident, but they're so nervous, or not driven and confident, excuse me, driven and motivated, but they're so nervous that they're too busy hiding to come out and feed. Like, let's say a Timor monitor or one of these tree monitors. Oh, they really, really want to eat, but they're so scared they're not.
Because they could become prey themselves.
They're not willing to do it. These guys are very confident, very driven, very physically athletic. So like an Asian water monitor would have been a lot easier to do this with as far as, they're confident, they're easy to handle, comparatively much easier to handle, things like that. But their food drive isn't quite there. And the main thing that was holding me back from the Asian water was their athletic ability just is not there. In comparison.
Copy that.
And these are in the family of the fastest reptiles in the world. The perennie, the sand goanna, and the Argus monitor, or yellow spot monitor, whatever you want to call it. They are the fastest, and they're all very close cousins. Let's do a little nail. They're a little faster. He's running in circles for you and everything. Yeah. Good job. Good job. And the easiest time to pick him up is while he's swallowing. I hear they calm down a bit as they mature.
They do, because they tend to think they're no longer prey.
Yeah.
They get a little bit more mature and they get more sure of themselves. So that's why I was impressed. And I like the way, you know, you're very gently going to grab him, because you don't want to grab him. You want him to have a positive feeling of eating,
Yep.
and then a gentle lift. So that's the repetition you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, I think we have just gotten a heap of information. You're really passionate about what you're doing, and that's what I love. Just seeing him, how he interacts with his dogs, with his mink, and now with Raptor, and not to mention your children. Like, you're good, man. It's really been amazing watching him today. And thanks for letting me come in here and just kind of barge in during the middle of the week. I'm in the middle of the Harkin family vacation, but I knew if I'm coming to Salt Lake area, I had to meet the Mink Man. Joe, thank you so much.
I appreciate you coming out to visit.
Thank you
it's
so
pretty
much.
cool. I've watched your channel, not religiously, because obviously I'm not a reptile guy.
Yeah, no worries.
But I've seen it years and years ago. I was like, man, this guy's kind of cool. I kind of like
Thank
what
you.
he's got going. Man, I mean, a bit of what I've done, I modeled after you in a way.
Oh, wow.
I was like, man, this guy's got a cool little reptile park going on. I need to do that with my mink.
This is cool. It's awesome to have been a part of it and to see what you got going on. And if you guys are interested in what I do, you're more than welcome to head over to my channel.
Yeah.
We do a lot with monitors ourselves, so very cool.
Yeah, check it out. They've got some really cool enclosures, and I love all your different little pond setups.
Thank you.
And how all the, oh, he's gonna come say hi.
I love this.
Oh, it's because he's scared of the
Oh, he was scared of the
Yeah,
chick.
come see him.
You could say hello. I'm a reptile lover, dude. Come here. See, it's so interesting, huh?
He's like, maybe I do like this guy.
So rad. This pretty much just made my whole trip. Getting to hold a little Argus monitor, the most famous Argus monitor on YouTube. He's really taking a look at that. Here, I don't want him to bolt.
Should we go inside, buddy?
Let's go. Let's go. Awesome. Thank you so much, Joe.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Our animal mission is simple: education in action, conservation in action. This is Camp Kenan.